Okay, let's just dive right in. We're going to try and tackle one of the most loaded questions out there. How much money does it actually take to be considered rich in America? And look, we're not just guessing here. We're going to break it all down using real numbers from sources like the IRS and the Federal Reserve.
So let me ask you something, straight up. Right now, just answer this in your head. Are you rich? Now, if you're like most people, your immediate gut answer was probably no.
And hey, you're not alone. It is a fascinating part of the American mindset, isn't it? Almost nobody thinks of themselves as rich. But here's the kicker. A lot of people are way closer to that line than they think. Some of you listening right now might already be there and not even realize it.
To really figure this out, we have to start where most people do, with income. So let's start climbing the income ladder, step by step, and see where the actual cutoffs are. Okay, first things first, we need to get one really important thing straight. The median individual income is around $50,000. That's the real middle. But the average? That's way higher, closer to 75 grand, because it gets pulled way up by the super high earners. This is so key because it means if you're making, say, $80,000 a year, you are already earning more than the vast majority of Americans, even if it doesn't always feel like it.
So what does it take to get into that top tier, to be in the top 10% of individual earners in the entire United States? You need to make around $170,000 a year. That's it. That is your ticket into the top 10% club for an individual. Now, if we're talking about a whole household, that number does jump up to about $250,000.
And this is right where we see that huge disconnect. I mean, someone at this level probably has a mortgage, maybe kids, student loans, and if they live in a place with a high cost of living, that income gets eaten up fast. On paper, they are in an elite group of earners, but in their day-to-day life, they just feel normal, not rich.
All right, let's keep climbing. Next stop on the ladder, the top 5%. To get here, as an individual, you're looking at an income of about $250,000 a year.
Now, at this level, things really do start to feel different. This is usually the world of senior professionals, experienced people in tech, finance, medicine, or law. It's so important to remember, only a tiny, tiny fraction of the country ever reaches this income bracket.
And now for the big one, the top 1%. To break into this truly elite group, based on income alone, you need to be making over $600,000 a year. It's a massive leap. And believe me, that bar is constantly getting higher.
So we have the numbers, but does a $600,000 salary automatically make you rich? Is that really the whole picture?
Not even close. In fact, if you think of income as what you see above the surface, like the tip of an iceberg, the real true measure of wealth is everything that's hidden underneath.
So let's talk about the other, and frankly more important half of the equation, net worth. This is where the real story of wealth truly begins.
So what is it exactly? Well, put simply, your net worth is the value of all your assets, your house, your investments, your savings, minus all your debts, like your mortgage or any loans. It's what you own, not just what you earn.
And hey, just like with income, the average number here is incredibly misleading. The average U.S. household net worth is over $1 million. But that number is so skewed by billionaires. The median, the actual midpoint, tells a far more realistic story for most people.
In this slide, this shows you the most important thing about net worth. It's not about one great year of income. It's a story that's told over decades. It's built slowly through consistent saving, investing, and letting your assets grow. And this is exactly why a high earner with a lot of debt can actually have less wealth than someone who earned less but invested wisely for years and years.
So what does it take to join the top 1% for net worth? Well, the number is pretty staggering. You need a net worth of at least $10 million. This is the level where wealth is in a completely different league.
But even with these huge numbers, there's one last crucial piece to this whole puzzle. And it's all about perspective.
Think about this for a second. To be in the top 1% in the US, you need that 10 million bucks. But to be wealthier than the majority of people on the entire planet, you only need a net worth of about $100,000. Globally, that puts you in an incredibly small, incredibly wealthy group.
Which brings us to the ultimate question, right? If even a pretty modest net worth makes you wealthy on a global scale, why do so many Americans, even the high earners, feel like they're just getting by?
Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. It's called social comparison.
We don't measure our wealth against some global average. No way. We measure it against the people we see every single day. The neighbor with the brand new car, the coworker who just got a big promotion, the picture-perfect lives we see scrolling on social media. And that gap, the one between our reality and their highlight reel, that's where financial anxiety is born.
So what is the real takeaway here? I mean, if constantly chasing the label of rich is a game you just can't win, what should you do instead? Well, it all comes down to focusing on your own path.
Here's a simple way to think about it. First, just stop chasing a vague label like rich. It's always going to be a moving target. Second, define what financial success means for you. Figure out your number for your goals. And third, and this is the most important one, measure your progress against your own plan, not against anyone else's journey.
So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. Forget all the statistics, forget the comparisons for just a moment. What does being rich in your life, not just in your bank account, truly mean to you?